Speaking of chips, there is a device that has to be mentioned. That is, a lithography machine. When it comes to lithography machines, the Dutch company ASML is another name that has to be mentioned. Because it is the only one with the most advanced lithography machine in the world. EUV lithography machines have always been regarded as indispensable equipment for advanced chips, and under the control of Americans, ASML cannot freely ship EUV lithography machines. Who wants to buy? Who do you sell to? Without an American nod, ASML cannot sell a single lithography machine. ASML was originally a Dutch company, but under the coercion and inducement of the United States, it had no choice but to move its headquarters to the United States. And after the US revised chip rules, even DUV lithography machines that produce mature chips have been restricted from shipping. Although DUV lithography machines produced in other countries can still be shipped normally. However, DUV lithography machines produced in the United States are strictly prohibited from being sold to any country or company, especially China, without a license. But in the first quarter of this year, ASML delivered a total of 23 DUV lithography machines to domestic manufacturers. Although these DUV lithography machines are most likely manufactured in factories from non-US regions, but so many are delivered at once, is ASML really easy to explain on the American side? The entry of 23 DUV lithography machines will obviously help the production of domestic chips. First of all, we can intuitively see that in the first half of this year, the number of imported chips in China decreased by 29 billion, which greatly reduced the dependence of Chinese enterprises on imported chips. The United States is naturally unhappy, but ASML's attitude this time is very tough. They said that China is an important part of the global chip industry chain. If cooperation with China is stopped, the world semiconductor supply chain will face the risk of disruption. ASML is in a hurry and speaks very clearly. On the one hand, there is now a shortage of chips in the world, which has already affected the production of semiconductor equipment. If China's production capacity cannot be released, it is estimated that few in the world's semiconductor industry will survive for another 2 years. On the other hand, ASML itself is also facing a serious impact on the supply of raw materials, and it urgently needs to deepen its cooperation with China. The production of lithography machines requires a raw material called neon gas. 20% of ASML's neon gas comes from Russia and Ukraine, but due to local conflicts, ASML was cut off. And it happens that China can provide neon gas, and the monthly output of domestic integrated circuits can exceed 30 billion, both of which are urgently needed by ASML. Of course, there is another aspect. That is, ASML does not want the Chinese market to change from a big customer to a rival. Just like Huawei did to Qualcomm before. ASML does not want to force China out of the second ASML because of the selfish desires of the United States. Now the EUV lithography machine is unique to itself, but who can guarantee the future? Before the emergence of Kirin chips, did anyone think that China also has the ability to develop high-end chips? You know, our localized semiconductor supply chain has made a lot of progress. Domestic lithography machines now occupy the mainstream of the domestic market. Although the technology ceiling is definitely not as good as ASML, not all semiconductor equipment needs such good chips. The mainstream of the market is still dominated by mature process chips. Therefore, for ASML, instead of being controlled by the United States and then disappearing into the so-called price, it is better to just face it, and maybe there is a way to survive.